All right, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors and salutations to apostles and elders of GMS, the teachers as well. I say shalom to you. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All you Akim and Aqua that be listening to the videos, brothers and sisters. I say shalom to you. This is your brother Kalak coming at you with another video. Just a basic video touching on the dietary laws and what we should be eating and what we should not be eating, and just to go into a story in the Apocrypha about how the brethren didn't, they went to the extreme tortures for not eating swine's flesh. So we're going to get into that in this lesson. Lord willing, you're edified and you get something out of this. First, we're going to start with Salakia. We can start with Leviticus. Like I said, these are basics. Just the spirit was on me to do something, basic. I mean, I'm still, every day is a learning experience and to learn something new. But sometimes, just go over things that you already know, just because somebody else might be watching that don't know, or you never know. So it's Leviticus 11. I'm start at the top. Leviticus, which means law. The Levites, the lawyers, the so-called Haitians to this day. So let me start at 11:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. Verse 3, whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. So parted the hoof, their toes. Here we can look it up. Salakia. So we get a better understanding. Bible info. Cloven hooves and cheweth cud. Cheweth cud is the grass. Grass got a lot of nutrients in it. Like when I look at my grass outside and I take care of it and stuff, you rip it, it's so rich, and it's the ground. So we all come from the ground. Adam. Let's just go to images real quick. One toe-footed, two toe-footed, 3, 4. You get my point about the cloven hooves, or part of the hoof. It has two parts. It goes 2 parts, cloven hooves. So you get the point on that. And cheweth the cud. Start at 3 again. What else? Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts ye shall eat. Nevertheless, verse 4, nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or them that divideth the hoof, as camel, because it cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean to you. So it don't divide. It don't break into two. So even though the camel eats the cud, and like I think over there in Jewish, they eat like camel bites, or I think it's Might be Hamites doing that, but yeah, that's going off, way off. Let's jump down here to verse 9. Salakia. Let's start at verse. We could have just kept reading. Salakia. Verse 5. And the coney, because it cheweth the cud and divideth not the hoof, it is unclean to you. And the hare, the rabbit, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. Here's a big one. This is what I was like, verse 9. Verse 7. And the swan, the pig, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you, because a pig will eat slop, man. A pig will eat a human in 8 minutes, I think. A live human, a dead human. It'll eat anything. It'll eat a tire if it was hungry. So, and the pork, it has the lowest vibration of any animal, if you put that in your body. So, literally, like, there's so many, answers out there to why we shouldn't be eating pork. Nobody should be eating that thing, nobody. But you know what world we live in. Verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. Verse 9. These shall ye eat of the waters that are in the waters. Listen close. Whatsoever has fins and scales in the water, in the sea, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales in the sea and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and any living thing which is in the waters, that should be abomination unto you. Verse 12. Whatsoever have no fins, no scales in the water, that shall be abomination to you. So, only fish with fins and scales, not crab, not lobster, not any of those, not any of those you should be eating at all. Because the Lord is saying it's abomination to you. And like, if we look up, what does crab, lobster, and shrimp do for the oceans? Do crustaceans clean the ocean? In addition to being a food source, they occupy the role of devorators. The deep ocean cleanup crew, most importantly, are for the amphipods, Salakia, which you might have found leaping like fleas around washed up seaweeds on the shores. Even here, they are doing their job for cleaning up the stranded debris. So these crabs, lobster, and shrimp, they are here to clean the ocean. Crabs are one of the main decomposers in the marine ecosystem, meaning they help to clean up the sea bottoms by harvesting decomposing plants and animals' matter. So if we're taking them out the ocean and putting them on a plate as delicacy, and they're cleaning the oceans, like, what are you saying to the Lord? What are your actions are doing? You're eating that when it's supposed to be keeping the planet clean. Do you understand? I hope, we can understand that, but, the Lord's people are Sodom's children. We can get that soon, but, why eat this stuff if it's cleaning the ocean, it's keeping us safe, and it's keeping, they're keeping the oceans clean where they don't overheat and they don't be filled with trash and all of this stuff, or decomposing debris and plant matter and all of that stuff. Why are we taking them out of the water and putting them on our plate? Again, this world is backwards. This world is backwards. So not much to to go on for that. But you get what I'm saying. Do shrimp clean the ocean? The shrimp are also good at their job. That fish will line up to have their mouths cleaned by the cleaner shrimp. You hear that? Let me start from the spotted cleaner shrimp is the dentist of the reef. These shrimp eat parasites, dead skin, and pesky food bits stuck in the mouth of fish, entering the mouth of the potential predator. May seem suicidal, but the shrimp are good at job. That fish will line up to have their mouths clean. You hear that? The world is in order, and when you take it out of order, look what happens to the earth. And they trying to say that, climate change and all of this stuff is like, look what you're doing to the earth. You're poisoning it. You're making it rot. I mean, the wicked is in Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? One of the judges is Yahushua, who the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ. They covered that face. Think a precept to that. I know I'm going off a little bit. Maccabees 1:12. First Maccabees 12. Talks about the heathen taking a likeness of opening the book of us and painting their own images in it. So you know who this world is, who has this world. I wanted to get Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. When you look up that word sottish, it means stupid. They have none understanding. They wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. So the Lord is telling you not to eat crab, shrimp, lobster. What do you call those things that's in Louisiana? Those crawfish. Oh, they love them down there. The Lord is telling you not to eat that, but at the same time, his people are love that stuff. I'm talking about they boil it, they fry it, they do everything to it. Man. This is why the Lord told Jeremiah, for my people are foolish. They have not known me. They're a side of sin. Because if you knew the Lord, you wouldn't do that shit. You wouldn't eat that stuff. You wouldn't do that to the Lord. I don't care how, like the other night, a lady made some beans and she was like, oh, it just had 2% pork. And I was like, throw that shit out. Throw it out. Make sure we threw it out. It's like, no, because then I'm about to read a story in 2 Maccabees to let you know why like if you come into the knowledge of not eating swine's flesh and it like holds on you tight because you have faith that we're not supposed to be doing that, then I mean you very so might go back. You might be probably one of the elect. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm an elect. So, but I'm gonna keep doing the work. Even though he slays me, I still trust in him. That's in Job. I still trust in the Lord, even though if he's gonna slay me. So I'm not worried. I'm just gonna keep doing what the Lord told me to do and have faith. No, this is going to be a little lengthy, so bear with me. But like I said, this was just a basic touch on the dietary laws and what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating. But before I read that, I have just prohibited foods that we should be staying away from. You blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and you confusion of face Israelites across the land, across the world, across Eden. Prohibited foods, poultry such as fried chicken and breaded chicken is restricted. Luncheon meats such as ham, roast beef, and corned beef are prohibited. Imitation eggs are restricted. Fats and oils such as lard, shortening, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, margarine, soy oil, corn oil, and any particular generated oil may not be consumed. It is important to read labels of all foods and not just trust the oppressive foods, nuts, nuts and seeds such as honey roasted nuts or seed dried or roasted in oil are restricted. I used to love, pistachios. Condiments, seasonings such as allspice and containing added sugar, commercial ketchup with sugar and barbecue sauce with sugar should be restricted. Beverages such as alcohol, artificial juices, carbonated, fluorinated tap water, and pre-ground commercial coffee should be limited. All grains and starchy foods, including pasta, cereal, pasties, and baked goods, should be regulated. Shouldn't eat that at all, honestly. Sweeteners such as sugar, sodas, heated honey, and artificial sweeteners should be restricted. So you get my point. These, you want to, have a clear mind and clear heart, which is your spirit. You might want to take control of your diet, because 80% of what, is 80% diet, and 20% mental, physical, lifting weights and all of that stuff, stretching and drinking water and whatnot. But let me go into 2 Maccabees 7, and bear with me, this is going to be a little bit lengthy, but hopefully you get the point. 2 Maccabees 7, and it came to pass that the 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented and scourged with whips. Verse 2, but one of them spake first and said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than transgress the laws of our fathers. So look, stop right there. They just had to eat pig and they would have been on their way. But here go the first brother saying, yo, we ready to die for not to eat that. So you gotta see why this pork issue is really, you shouldn't be doing that, because our four brethren, our Maccabees brethren and their mother were all killed. I don't think the mother was killed. We'll read it. Verse 3, then the king, being enraged, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. Hear that? A pan, like, say you sitting there, right? The president come up to you, just say Biden or Trump or somebody come up to you, and you at the White House, and they say, hey, we want you to eat this pork, and you're going to be like, no, I don't do that. And they go in a fury rage. Oh, you don't want to eat the pork? Well, they bust open a curtain, and they start finding this big-ass hot firing pan. They start putting fire to it. Whoo! You gonna melt. Verse 4, which forthwith being heated, and commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut out the utmost part of his body, and the rest of his brother and his mother looking on. So the first brethren that said something, they cut out his tongue, and then they start dismembering him in front of his brothers and his mother. And there's 7 of the brothers there. 7. Completion. Now when he was thus mated, and all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought into the fire, and he be fried in the pan, and the vapors of the pan was a good space dispersed. They exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, thus saying, the Lord looked upon us, and the truth have comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. Verse 7. So when the first was dead after this number, they bought the second one to make him a mocking stock. And when he had pulled off the skin of his head and the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of the body? So they scalped him and then asked him to eat the pork. Could you imagine the pain the brethren was in? And he still kept his integrity. Because, I mean, damn, your scalp going, you might as well just throw in the whole towel, you know. It's a it's a wrap. But he answered in his own language and said, no. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order, as the former did. Verse 9. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, thou like a fury takest out this present life, but the King of the world shall rise us up, who have died for his law until everlasting life. Stop right there. So this brethren is saying, like, he's telling you, like, you can kill the body, but you ain't gonna kill the spirit. You know, fear. There's a scripture, fear who can kill the body in the spirit. That's who you should be fearing. You can't fear nobody that can just kill the body. You know, you got to fear the one that can take the body in the spirit. That's the Most High. So these brethren was ready to die because they know there's going to be raised up for everlasting life for dying for this law. So that's what type of mindset we have to have in this truth. This truth is not all fun and games and pretty and whatnot. You actually, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptations and all the vexation of the heart that you get day in and day out. I mean, every day. Verse 10, after him was a third and made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully. So he stuck out his tongue and he stuck out his hands and said, here, take them, you can have them. And said courteously, these I have for heaven, and for his laws I despise them, and for him I hope to receive them again. Verse 12, and so much that the king that they were with marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. He didn't even feel that. Verse 13, and now when a man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth one in like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said, thus it is good being put to death by man, to look for hope for the Most High, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no restriction to life. So yeah, I mean, we're in the valley of the dry bones. We're in the valley of death in America. You know, every time you walk out your door, you can have some crazy ass Edomite, go crazy and shoot up something. You can have your own people get mad because they don't like the way you looked at them. You can have, anything happen to you out there when you're on the streets. That's why it's good to pray to the Lord, bless me coming in and bless me coming out, so the Lord can, those angels encamp around the ones that fear the Lord. So if you fear the Lord, the angels going to camp around you. And what's fear the Lord? That's keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So if you fear the Lord and you have faith, then small as a mustard seed, you'll be fine. But you can't be scared of, the things that's to come, because, the prophets, the apostles, they was all killed and hung and, a lot right along with Yahushua when he died on the cross, man. They came after those prophets and killed them all. not all of them. I think Apostle John was sent to the island of Patmos, where he had to mine salt and live out those days there. So, verse 15. Afterwards, they bought the fifth also and mangled him, and then looked unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of the Most High. So, like, you killing us, you doing all this, tormenting and doing all this. Don't think the Most High ain't watching. Don't think the Most High is not on our side. We had to pay for these sins of, what we did in this life or in the past life. So it's only right that these brethren are in that spirit to do that, because they, the Lord put the spirit on them to be in that way. Verse 17. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. After him also they bought the sixth, who was ready to die, said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against the Most High. Therefore marvelous things are done to us. I was just saying that. Because you don't know what you did in your past life. So, and you know what you did in this life. And, but you're just probably blind to the fact of the laws and whatnot. So we still under grace, but still, you don't know what you did in your past life. So marvelous things are done to us because of us going off. So I can look back on my life and say, man, I don't, a lot of marvelous things have been done to me. And I'm like, what the hell did I do for this? But I've seen what I've done in this life. And I've got some, I don't know, but I got some faith for insight from my, past life, even though that's going off. I shouldn't say that because that's from the left-hand side or whatnot. Or maybe it was from the right. Either way, I don't know, because nothing is new under the sun and you don't remember anything. So it was just a feeling that I was feeling. Verse 19, but think now thou that takest the hand and shroud against the Most High, that thou shalt escape unpunished. You're not going to escape unpunished, that's for sure. It's just not going to happen that way. The Lord is always going to pay people back, even though people think, why is this person doing this much wickedness in the world and not getting paid back? Verse 20, but the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honor of memory. When she saw her 7 sons slain with the space of one day, she bared with a good courage because of the hope that she had in the Lord. Verse 21, she exhorted everyone in them in their own language, lift up courage, spirits, and stirring up the woman's thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came from my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was I formed in the mirror of every one of you. But verse 23, but doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generations of man and found out the beginning of things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regarded not your own selves for his law's sake. And I'm gonna stop it right there. You can go read more about it, but you got my point, or what I was getting into about that. Like I said, this was just going to be a quick lesson. This wasn't, I was just touching on what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating, and just touched on the second Maccabees and a little bit about the Lord's people, how sottish they are and they don't listen. But hopefully you were edified, and on to the next video. I'm gonna say, call halalayim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakakadash Barakatah Yahweh Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Shalom.